Good morning, Noodlers. It's Paul Romero here on a new up day, first day of a new strong session. Awesome day, most awesomest day of the strong session because it is your chance for new opportunity again to start afresh and chase after new opportunity for another 7 days, which is no longer called a puny little, what most people call it. It's a strong session. So you got 7 days, 7 new days of a strong session, starting off with New Opportunity Day. Gotta love it. And this is the March 23rd, 2015 New Op Day of this awesome new session, and I got one wild and crazy excited guy who just can't wait to unleash his wisdom upon you. John, let him have it.
Happy New Up Day, everybody that's watching this. And Paul, I'm excited to be here, quite honestly, because I missed all of our hangouts last week for both real estate and Physical Global. I guess that was my vacation from it. But to be quite honest with you, I don't like taking a vacation from these hangouts. I actually really enjoy doing these, and I'm real excited about this week, or as Paul is now renaming a week, a session, a strong session. I like that a lot because, Paul, I know you're probably pretty aware of this, and I just want to congratulate our team this weekend for a job well done. We're going into this Monday, and our partner Danny is over at the office waiting for a package from the UPS to be delivered with a contract in it from a property that Paul scored a deal on about 2.5 weeks ago at this point, but we've been waiting for this package to come back, and it always seems to miss us, but someone will be there today for it. The other great news is that I went out Friday evening, spoke to a seller, and I was at his house 9 a.m. Saturday morning, and I got a contract on a property this weekend. And Paul helped one of our noodlers, Brian, to get 2 contracts on 2 different properties yesterday. So that's a Monday morning. We got 3 ready to go into escrow, and another one which will be delivered by the UPS. Like I said, it's a done deal. They tried to deliver it Friday, and no one was at my office. So.
Yeah.
For a Monday, I don't know what better way to start a session.
What? What did you just say?
A session, a strong session. Almost said it. Almost said the words. But what better way to start a strong session with 4 deals going into escrow today, and one that's set to close on Wednesday.
Oh, that's right. 4. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That is a powerful way to start the week. And you know what? The last one you said where I helped Brian, that actually originated through one of the sort of newbie noodlers on the team that Brian has trained up to do the very first leg of noodling. And so that's Nate is going to actually have a nice little piece of the pie payday coming out of this deal as well too. And lucky Nate, his first deal is a double. It's a twofer. Too bad we didn't get it tomorrow on the Tuesday. It'd be a 2 for Tuesday for Nate. But anyway, it's powerful stuff. But I got to say, and I'm going to revert back to John just was talking about the hangouts and the fact that we do a second hangout immediately preceding this on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday as well for our network marketing business. We're both in this real estate thing, and we're both involved with a network marketing business as well. And we go through every new op day in the network marketing hangouts that we have is Own Your Life Day. This is a brilliant book written by Don Falia, and it's all about how building a network marketing business. It's sort of like the training manual for a network marketing business. But it's so funny how, as I'm going through this book, doing these trainings for the network marketing business, how the similarities tend to apply to this wholesale real estate business. Today's lesson over there, he calls them napkin presentations because Don Fela is for those of you who don't know, a massively successful, like 800,000 people in his organization worldwide, which is insane. It's probably over 1 million by now. That's probably an older number. But anyway, he's got that many people in his organization that every single one of them, he's earning money from. So you know he's making a ton load here. But anyway, so he wrote this book, and the napkin presentations, because what Don started out doing this years ago, he would meet with people in bars or restaurants or whatever, and so he would have these little drawings, very simple drawings, that he would just grab a napkin and draw this out while he's talking to this person, and have this little spiel that he would go through. And that's really what this book is all about, these little napkin presentations, these drawings that he developed, and sort of the spiel that goes along with it to show people how powerful network marketing is. But the napkin presentation today that applies to the real estate was going back to school, and the fact that in network marketing, like when people go to college, you go to college before. I love this question that he asked. I got to pull this up because I want to make sure I ask it. I want to present it the right way. I'm going to read this question right out loud. Does anyone know of a 4-year college course where you could graduate with or without honors, whatever, it doesn't matter. You could be the tops in the class or the bottom of the class, but you take this 4-year college course and you graduate, and then have a hope to retire in 1 to 3 years with more than $70,000 a year coming in? Anybody know of something like that? That class isn't offered. They don't offer that course. I mean, if they offered that course in college or even in high school, I'm sure a lot of you would have signed up for it, right? And you wouldn't have to be here right now unless you wanted to, because it would all be for fun. But the whole thing, what I'm getting at here, is that napkin presentation talks about going back to school, and that the first 6 months of your network marketing business is all about learning. And he talks about how, ask any professional, doctor, lawyer, whatever, how long have you been practicing your business, right? And they'll tell you they've been practicing their business. It started from the day they graduated college. That educational part, that learning piece, is not included in the actual working of the business. And the same thing goes here with wholesale real estate. You're going to have a learning curve. Can you hit *6 there? I got a little background.
I don't know what the heck just happened there. Like a window opened on my computer to a YouTube channel I was watching last night and just started freaking playing it.
That's funny. But anyway, like I said, you gotta consider that you're gonna have a learning period. I'll tell you right now, for 2 guys like us who started this out with nothing, no idea, no clue what the heck we were doing, although we had a clue, but we've been on a freaking 3-year learning curve, okay, to get to the point where over the course of 3 days we can walk into a new op day going to open 4 escrows. All right, 3 years. Now the problem is, do you have 3 years of bullheadedness and persistence inside of you, or do you want to cut that to more like a network marketing educational program of 6 months and join a property noodler system that can help you get that happening? So I just wanted to throw that out there, because as I was doing that presentation this morning and I was coming here going, what am I going to talk about? And I was like, well, wait a second. I pretty much just talked about it. You got to learn before you can earn. That's the bottom line.
Exactly. And what Paul just said right there, and I apologize, Paul. He's probably distracted by my antics this morning here, because I got a phone call that I had to get up and walk away and take, and all of a sudden it started blamming this reggae music through the speakers on its own. The computer.
Okay, Mom. We take things as they come.
But what Paul was saying there about the learning curve, and I kind of missed how you got into the Own Your Life Plan book, but I get the relevance to real estate, why he would bring up that book. Long story short is, why take years trying to figure something out on your own and spending thousands of dollars on various programs on the internet When you can join a team that already has a lot of what they do systemized, and the education and everything and the know-how is already established, and you're just basically stepping in to something that's so far beyond any other program that is out there. As far as, we're actually looking to just recruit a couple of hands-on team members to come on board and just learn and work directly with us, and kind of put you back to school, so to speak, as an education in how to go out there and make money flipping houses. And it's new, it's different, it's going to take some time and some education, but being part of a team that's already doing it and working with two masters such as ourselves, we're going to train you and hold your hand through all the steps. There's no quicker way to learn wholesale real estate than by having a direct access to your mentor. And I got to toss it back over to you, Paul, because I have a blocking mode on my phone, and there's only 2 people that can get through to this phone when the blocking mode is, and that person is now called 3 times, which is a concerning thing to me. So yet again, I have to step away and take another call.
I hope they want to make us some money.
I hope so, but it's my kid's school, so.
Yeah. Exactly. So you're stuck with the kids today because they're calling in sick, probably. Anyway, yeah, education, all part of anything. For just talking about a learning curve, any business, you go into any business, right? The statistics show that any business, every business pretty much takes 3 years before it actually starts turning a profit. The first 3 years, you're losing money. Why are you losing money in the first 3 years? Because you're learning. You have no idea what you're doing out there. You're learning as you're doing. You're making mistakes, which is another reason why I believe it's 80% of all businesses fail within the first year or the first 3 years. I forget which one it is, the first year or the first 3 years. I think it's the first year. 80% of all businesses fail within the first year, and of the 20% that make it 3 years, that's when they start earning an income. I don't know exactly what the percentage of that is, but most businesses don't start earning an income for 3 years. So now, first of all, you went into the hole, you created a deficit by losing money. Now you're starting to earn money. What's it going to take you? 1, 2, 3 years before you're really actually, have a business that's producing money for you, because first you're losing money, then you got to pay it back. All that money you lost, now you got to pay that back to be to the break-even point to where you can actually be, having a profitable business. So 6 years, 6 years to a profitable business, 3 years to earning because of the learning. You have to learn. That's where people fail. Wholesale real estate's no different. Why do you think gurus make so much money selling courses? Because people need to learn this. So what do? We go out there and throw together a program to help you learn. Thing is, you can't fit it all into a program. And the thing is, what most programs are all about is taking a concept and attaching it to a dynamic, and then you have a program. Here's a dynamic of how things work, and here's a concept with which we're targeting, a target concept that which we're targeting, and here's how the whole thing works. What gets left out of most programs is the you part of it, who you need to be, how you have to become, and also what wholesale real estate is really about, which we've talked about many times before. It's not about real estate. It's not about property. It's about marketing and sales. So, the whole idea of learning and why like I said, why the guru programs are so wildly successful and they make so much money is because you guys are out there knowing that there's stuff you need to learn, and you don't know what it is, so you go get a program and you're like, wow, this is great, I can do this. But like I said, they leave out this one piece about what it really takes to have success at this. And the one little piece too, where hey, the program only costs this much, but then you got to go out and spend this much because of all the extra things that you need to do in order to get deals and whatnot. So between the money and the lack of the key element that's missing out of those programs, most people end up buying programs and never doing anything. You could ask, somebody might ask, well, that sounded like a great real estate program, and I understand 1 million people bought it, but I know 1 million people didn't become millionaires off of it. Why is that? Well, because, first of all, 1 million people buy the program, probably 900,000 of them never even opened the package. Then the next 90,000 of them, probably opened it up and watched the first video or the first CD or whatever, and they were done. And then the next 9,000, maybe they watched the whole course, but they didn't do anything with it. So I mean, it's just human nature that that's what's going to happen. So there's only a very few people that actually have within them what it takes to progress forward and be successful at wholesale real estate. But the ones who actually have the lucky possibility of coming across somebody who's willing to help them and who has something that it's not just a program that says, here you go, take it, good luck, call me when you get a deal. A program that is, all right, come here, let's help you get a deal and help you start learning from that and how to doing it. The people that are lucky enough to come across that, and those who are bullheaded enough like us to stick through it and keep running into that brick wall with our heads until we finally bust it down and go out the other side and go, oh, that's what we're supposed to be doing. Those are the ones that become successful. So out of the 1 million people that bought that program, yeah, what do you think? 1%? What is that? 10 people actually go on to becoming millionaires? So that's how it works.
It's so true. I actually did a seminar myself about a little over 3 years ago at this point, and it was this seminar that I went to that actually introduced me to the concept of wholesale real estate. It was Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And the funny thing about how I came upon wholesale real estate, and the reason I bring this up is just so you know where we're coming from and to see how relatable of your average guys that we are. And the only thing that made us a step above average really was our thick-headed bullheadedness, and our desire is stronger than that of the average person. But we came from an average place. I went to a wholesale real estate, not even a training on wholesale real estate. I was actually working construction for 37, I would say 33 and a half years before I got into real estate. And I owned a paint business. What's that?
Started in construction at 4?
Well, I'm 33 and a half years old.
Right.
No. I said 33 and a half years. I'm just saying for the first 33 and a half years I was in construction. Yeah, I played with blocks, dude.
Were you painting them?
I did my construction with Crayola crayons and construction paper, but my point being is, I went to a real estate seminar in January 2012, Rich Dad Poor Dad. It was very well worth the price. Quite honestly, I think I paid $200 for that seminar, and I went and I was allowed to bring a friend, so I brought a friend who gave me $100 cash to come with me, so I only spent $100 to go to that seminar. And they brought up the concept of wholesale real estate being a way to get into real estate with no money, really with no money. And I looked at the person I went with who looked back at me and were just like, is this for real? Like, we got to try this. So right there on the spot, we signed up for a wholesale training course with the Rich Dad Learning Education System, and I hired a coach. And I spent $10,000 between the two of them for a training and a 6-day training on wholesale real estate where they did talk about marketing. And I also signed up for a coach. And I think I will say that was another part of my success, is knowing that I just invested $10,000 of my money into the concept of wholesale real estate. I wasn't going to stop till I made my 10 grand back. You know, but I'm glad I did. But, you know, there's a lot of people out there that don't have $10,000. And then if they did, would you even invest it in your education? And if you did invest it in your education, would you actually follow through and learn and apply what that education entailed? And you know what's interesting, Paul? If you Google Rich Dad, Poor Dad training, if you Google like wholesale real estate and put in the name, insert the name of a guru who teaches wholesale real estate training, the majority of what you're going to find on Google says it's a scam, this stuff doesn't work, these guys are preying on people, they're selling a fake dream, it's a get rich quick, yada, yada, yada. Long story short is the majority of what you're going to hear about wholesale real estate is negative. And the reason is for that is the majority of people that try to get into real estate fail at real estate. And they have to blame something other than themselves, right? So what do? They blame the course. They blame the guru. They blame the friend who told them about wholesale real estate. They blame everyone but themselves. And that's where you as a person is so critical to your success in real estate, because it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. If it was, I don't think, you know, there's a secret that Paul and I are missing, because I'd say 3 years to be where we're at ain't easy, and it wasn't quick. And it was arduous and challenging, though it was a lot of fun. But it wasn't until we realized that the you part of the equation, what kind of person you are, is everything to the success of not only if you're in real estate, but whatever your career choice may be, you know? The case in point is that it takes you being a bullheaded, strong, independent person, open to change, open to getting out of your comfort zone, open to learning, and mainly action. Action is where the rubber meets the road. Like, you can learn everything, you can know all the right stuff, you could say all the right things and know all the right people, but if you're not taking action and applying what it is that we can teach you, you're going to go online and you're going to write a review and you're going to say this stuff is a scam, like 98% of the people who try it do. And the reason they failed is for no other reason than themselves. And that's the bottom line, and that's the truth here. You've got to be a person that takes action. And you don't have to spend $10,000, though I would never for 1 minute say that it was a waste of my money to invest $10,000 in my education to learn wholesale real estate, because now I know how to get 4 deals under contract in 3 days, and each deal potentially we make an average of about 12 grand on a deal. So that's about $48,000 sitting there in escrow waiting for us to find a buyer now. That's the power of this thing.
You know what's funny though? You said that, you know, you spent $10,000 and that's probably one of the reasons why you stuck to this and blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of people out there too, John, that they'll spend the $10,000 because they're looking for the get rich quick. There's no such thing as get rich quick, people. All right? There's get rich quicker. All right? You can definitely get rich quicker with a lot of things that are out there than you can, you know, doing the regular normal things that 98% of the people on this planet do, you know, throughout their lives. There's definitely get rich quicker, but there's no such thing as get rich quick, because in most people's minds, get rich quick is, I'm going to do this and next month I'm going to be a freaking millionaire. You know what? I'm going to make money. I'm going to make thousands of dollars next month, and by the end of the year I'll be a millionaire. And you know what? A lot of people out there spend $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, $60,000. And you know what? within a couple of months, a month, a week, they ain't doing squat with it. And they just piss that money away, and they aren't the right person. They aren't the type of person who has the wherewithal to stick to anything. They think if they put all this money in, they're going to start getting it back, by flipping deals next week, sending out 40 letters and making 10K a pop, and in 4 months I'll have my money back type of thing, and it doesn't happen. And in 2-3 months of this going on, of them putting out a minuscule effort, first of all, because they don't have the powerful, they just spent tons of money. They don't want to put out any more. So instead of spending, a little bit on that education and a massive amount on their marketing, they spend a massive amount on their education, and they're not willing to put anything out on marketing because they just spent all that money, and they expect just because I spent all that money, it's now going to happen for me without me having to do anything. And so they give up. I mean, and the 10K thing doesn't, for you, obviously, it was a motivator, and for some people it will be, but for a lot of people, it's not. It doesn't matter if they put $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 into this. If it ain't happening in 30, 60 days, this stuff's bullshit. I'm out of here. And then those are the people that are out there writing on the internet that this is all a scam and people are stealing from each other, and that people are ripping people off with this BS education and all that stuff. That's where it comes from. And I mean, it also just comes from the fact that 80% of the crap out there is negative anyway to begin with. So, and more people are apt to complain about something than they are to praise something. So there you go. You got to look at the fact. Hey, if you're looking at something on the internet, and 88% of the information is negative, and 12% of the information is positive, you know what? I'm believing the 12%. Now, if I'm looking at something and 98% of it is negative and 2% of it's positive, then I'm believing the 98%. Okay, but if it's at 88%, if 10% of the information is positive about this thing, I'm going with the 10%. Because there's a real good chance that 10% of the people out there are smart enough to figure out that this is real, and 90% of the people out there are, stuck in their own ways of thinking and their old mindset and can't believe that anything can happen and won't put the effort towards anything, and all they want to do is, give a half-assed try and then have something that they can go bitch about for the rest of their life. So there you go.
You know what, too, Paul? I want to point out something here about what we just said. I'm a success story, and I just told you guys what got me into wholesale real estate was a seminar I attended with the Rich Dad organization. I've done a lot more training and online webinars since then, which have added to my education and success, but I will say what I learned there got me started on the path to Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So while we were talking about that majority of stuff being negative, I decided, and I Googled this, Rich Dad Training Review, okay? The very first thing on Google, the very first thing that's, well, the very first thing is a Google AdWord paid for by Rich Dad to bring up the Rich Dad website. But that's a paid for. But the first organic find says, stupid investment of the week, Rich Dad Academy. No, the next thing is 21 Rich Dad education complaints. Are Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Get Rich Quick scam seminars? Question mark. Is Robert Kiyosaki a scam? Question mark. Everything on the first couple pages negative. And the funny thing about it is this. There are two other wholesalers that I know pretty well that also started with Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Two guys here in Phoenix. Both of them are now wholesalers full-time. And they took the same seminar I did 3 years ago. And there's
the same seminar all those people online you're just talking about right now took as well too.
Exactly. And we're all and now here's one article that I read that's just interesting, and I want to make this my last kind of a point today, and then I'm going to throw it over to you, Paul. It's this. This guy wrote the guy who wrote the article for Stupid Investment of the Week, Rich Dad Academy. I'm going to read this whole thing, but he does make a point here, which he says most people, wait, hold on, that's not what, oh yeah. Clearly everyone who listened to the pitch and bought the Rich Dad Training Academy has potential to be the next success story, but most Won't. It has worked for at least a small but dedicated group of followers. Bottom line, the success story is not likely to be the average attendee, but rather the exceptional one, the person who dives in with a passion and a single-mindedness that stands out from the crowd. That's the point here. That's why you're going to see, and I might even disagree with Paul about if I read 98% of the stuff is negative and 2% is positive, I might actually listen to the 2%. Okay, because the majority of people out there are negative, and it's the exceptional ones that realize that it starts with you, and that just because you attend a seminar, just because you attend a training, isn't going to make you a success. It's taking that and with passion and single-mindedness and focus, diving in and applying the knowledge. So that's kind of my point today. You want to be successful in this world, you've got to be an exceptional person. And you know what? Everyone has the ability to be exceptional. Paul and I we didn't realize how exceptional we really were when we met almost 3.5 years ago and started this business together. We didn't realize how exceptional we were. We kind of stumbled into, as we got into the self-development side of things, how exceptional we were, because you know what? We were naturally thick-headed, bull-minded people that we were going to make a success of this, largely because we've probably collectively, between the two of us, dumped well over 30 grand in education. And that in itself speaks volumes of the kind of person. But there are people that will pay 30 grand for an education and still do nothing with it. And you can see that the majority of those people have no better thing to do than go online and tell everybody what they bought into was a scam. When there are people like me, I'll even say their names: Ruben Perez, Andy Kadar, 2 other guys here locally. I don't know if you guys are watching. There's a shout out to you, who did Rich Dad, who are full-time wholesalers now. So with that being said, I'm kind of going to leave it on that note and toss it back to Paul to finish.
Yeah, I mean, that even goes back to college. College. How many people go to college, pay lots of money for that education, get out of school, and never freaking use it? You know, I mean, that just goes with everything. And when it comes down, I'm just gonna end this with one last thing. Who do you listen to? Okay, you go online, you go to research anything, and you see, you know, all this negative stuff. Well, who is that? All right, like that article you just read right there, that piece that you just read, I'm sure that whole thing, you know what, basically, that's a positive article. That's given good praise to the Rich Dad organization. That's not a negative. It's got a negative. The funny thing, what I caught about that is it's got a negative headline. It's got an eye-catching negative headline that's going to attract the 88% of the people that are looking for the negativity, the reason why this is BS, and they're going to go there, and he's put the spin on it to make them think, hey, maybe it's me. You know what? Maybe I'm the loser here, not the program. You know, so I thought that was pretty awesome with that one. Right?
Yep.
But, you know, so I mean, but here's what I'm saying is, who do you listen to? Okay, you go online, you look at this. You know, here's 50 reviews, and this is Joe Smith says, you know, oh, scam. I paid $10,000 and didn't get squat. Right? Okay, well, who's Joe Smith? Go look at what Joe Smith is. I'll bet you Joe Smith. You look at who Joe Smith is, and he's done a lot of stuff. He's put a lot of money out, and he's never done squat. He's never gotten squat out of anything because he's never done squat with anything. You know what I mean? Now go look at the one guy that says, amazing, this happened, blah, blah, blah. Go look at who that person is. And I'll guarantee you this is somebody who has, maybe this is the first time, but basically he's a guy who applied it. You know, that's what you're going to find out, because everything out there is nothing more than someone else's opinion. All right? So are you going to believe someone else's opinion just because words come out of their mouth? Or are you going to be the kind of person who says, okay, that's interesting information. I'm going to go verify it for myself. Or are you just going to take it for fact because somebody puked it upon you? All right? Anyway, that's it. We got to get out of here today because we're running out of time. We're over time actually now already. But power of education, wholesale real estate, you need education, period, bottom line. There's a learning curve. You're not going to get out there and start, sending 40 letters and earning 10K a month. It's just not going to happen. You might get lucky. You might score a 10K deal. That happens. But chances are slim. Chances are slim, just as John said. There's that very small group, that 1% of people who stand out above the crowd and will make it happen. And then there's also probably a smaller percentage, probably about a 0.1% of people who are lucky enough to stumble into it and just have it happen to them. So you want to be part of the 0.1% or the 1% or the 99% who get nothing out of it. Choice is yours. PropertyNoodlers.com. You know what to do. John, take us home.
Oh, universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom with which to make better use of the riches that have been given to me at birth through the power to control and to direct my own mind to whatever ends I may desire. And I desire getting 4 houses in escrow in the next hour, selling every single one, and making 48 grand by the end of the week.
Bam.